Marcus, would you like to take us into our next topic?
Yeah. What did we say it was going to be?
It's North Carolina.
There it is. Yep, a North Carolina school is selling grades, believe it or not. They're offering students to pay $20 to receive 20 test points, up to 20 test points. If you wanted to pay 5, you could get 5 points. But you pay $20 to get 20 test points over two tests. So basically 10 points on each test.
Yeah.
And they don't see a problem with that. Do you find a problem with that?
I do. I think it teaches them the wrong lesson. I think you can't really tell kids, well, you can just buy better grades. And I think there's other ways to raise money for the school.
Yeah,
I know that they're in need of money and everybody's having a budget problem, but have a bake sale, unless you live in New York. Because if you listen to any of our other shows, you're not allowed to do that in New York now because kids are too fat. But what do you think how else could children be rewarded? You could give money, and then I don't really know what else you would give in return. I don't know why that's necessary.
I just don't like it. It's horrible, horrible teaching. I mean, you did bad on this test, but don't worry, you can make up for it. I mean, 10 points isn't a lot, but think about it.
Just give me $10, and then I'll give you a better grade.
Yeah, it's like 10 points doesn't seem like a lot until you realize that's probably enough to move you from failing to passing.
Oh, no, it's enough to move you from a B to an A. I mean, it's plenty.
Exactly.
It's a whole nother grade. And it creates a completely wrong. I mean, it creates the wrong image to people who are looking at your grades.
And opponents of it make a good point. It's like, imagine if it was a college student going to a professor saying, "Here, I'll give you $20 if you give me a grade." I understand that's different because of different level of education, but the fact is, you're setting it's okay to these kids to do things that are not related to your education to get a better grade.
Yeah, I mean, it's only I wouldn't say it's that different. I mean, I understand that it's more
exchanging money for a grade.
More prestigious, but yeah, exactly. You're exchanging money for doing nothing. You're doing absolutely nothing to earn the grade.
Yeah, people are saying that one of the proponents of the argument is saying, well, at least the teachers aren't getting the money; it's going to the school. I don't care where the money is going. That doesn't change it. The fact is, you're paying for a grade.
I know I've just been beating this the entire episode, but again, people who don't want to have to do anything and just get benefit. There is no more cost. No one wants cost. And this is, I mean, there's literal cost and financial cost, but there's no cost of time. No one wants to actually have to do anything.
Yeah. I
just think it's a ridiculous lesson.
Yeah, it's horrible, and it's just going to set these kids up for failure. Let's keep it moving.
Yep.
I got this one.
Okay.
As some of you in the Iowa City area know, that the University of Iowa, since, was it 2008, has been smoke-free.
Yes.
And Des Moines passed a recent law in 2007, or Iowa.
Well, the state of Iowa has a smoking ban.
Which doesn't really work that way because you can still smoke in places. It's only the Iowa statewide one was any like public area, I think it was. I don't remember.
Restaurants,
stuff like any enclosed area, I believe is what it is. Anyway, yeah. The Ped Mall, which is a shopping center kind of thing in Iowa City, wants to outlaw smoking. They want a smoking ban just for that area. They say that the loiterers outside of their shops smoke, and the smoke comes in through the door and makes their stores smell bad, and they discourage customers from coming in, and they just want it to go away to increase their business. Do you think they should be allowed to do that?
At this point, why not? The rest of Iowa City is smoke-free, and there's only one section of the Ped Mall that is smoke-free. It's where there's a playground. It's actually, like that section it's just where the bars are. That isn't, so people can walk outside the bar, smoke, and then go back in the bar, since the state law makes that illegal to smoke in it. I just don't see a problem with it at this point. The precedent has been set. Just get rid of it. I used to be all about getting rid of it. There's so many holes in it, but this is something different. The police stand on the Ped Mall. The police can walk over, and they just ask you to put it out. They don't really give out citations.
Yeah.
Unless you refuse to put out your cigarette. You'd be an idiot if you did that. If you just put out your cigarette, then whatever, go back into the bar, be done with it. I don't see any problem.
I would agree. I mean, it's already been done for the state. It's already been done for the city.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time before everywhere but your home is going to be smoke-free. And smokers, tough luck. Deal with it.
Exactly.
You have a horrible habit, and you're killing yourself. You're killing other people. So do it in your own time, I guess. I don't know. I think the reason that I'm not upset by it is that, there's actually a reason. I mean, people are literally losing money because of that. I don't know how true that is, but if that's actually the case, then absolutely.
Yeah, well, that's losing money, and then there it goes back to the traditional argument of people who are standing in line to get into the bar have to sit there and take the smoke, which is the original argument, infringes on their rights. So although I used to be all about protecting them, it's kind of just the precedent has been set and it's game over.
Yep. No, I don't think it'll have any opposition.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next topic.
You want to take this or you want me to do it?
No, go ahead.
Okay. We've been talking extensively over the last 2 to 3 weeks about the state budget cuts, and this comes to us from the Des Moines Register. They have a section about, they can write in with ideas on how to cut the budget, and personally, I think this is a brilliant idea. The idea is to eliminate state-issued cellular telephones or BlackBerry-like mobile devices. So basically, I don't know which members, I don't know what state employees get this, but some state employees get their phone bill and their phone paid in full by the state government. So Iowa State employees have been issued 1,177 BlackBerries. So that's a lot of money. They said that the monthly phone bill in 2008 were $2.1 million spent for state employees to have BlackBerries. Basically, this person's idea is do not pay for their phone at all. I'm not actually in favor of that. What do you think of that? Do you think the state should pay for all cell phones and all bills for certain state employees?
Well, how would you I'm okay if they get rid of it. That's a fine idea. They do this on the federal level too. They give a lot of legislators and people like that BlackBerries. But what if you wanted to do only partial? How would you do that?
So here's what I would do. I would say, because with every 2-year contract, you get a cheap, $10 phone or whatever that's basically just a phone that just makes calls. That's what they should get, because the state should get a huge discount for buying all of these contracts and all of these phones. So they should. I think that if there's a legitimate reason for these people to have the phone, they should be provided just the minimum amount of access and just the minimum phone. If they want to add on to that, they should have to pay for their own BlackBerry coverage, their own BlackBerry phone itself. Mm-hmm. Because on Verizon itself, actually, I think the state uses U.S. Cellular, but just for a barometer here, Verizon. If you have a smartphone like a BlackBerry or the new Droid phone that came out, you have to pay an additional $30 a month to have the data access. So that's a lot of money. If you're spending $2.1 million on cell phones every month, that's $24 million a year on cell phones. That can be used much better. As a senator, hypothetically, this is used for senators and House members in the state. They can go to their office and check their email for all I'm concerned. I don't care if they're at Taco John's checking their email. That's not what that's supposed to be.
Well, I don't imagine a scenario where a state legislator is that urgent of a situation where they're not just going to get a call that explains it. I don't know why they have to see an email that urgently, why they can't just pay. I agree that they could just pay for that. Yeah. I like the idea of just paying for an upgrade. I think that does make sense.
Yeah. There are, however, people like the governor and like his top advisors. I can understand that because they will be able to communicate much faster through email and much faster.
Well, the governor is on the move. I mean, state legislators are too, but they're not dealing as much on such a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, they're usually concerned on big, huge statewide issues. They don't need to know right now that the vote for this bill is coming up 3 weeks later. That they can wait and go to their office and check their email. I just think that there's way too much money being spent on things that, don't need to be that, especially in this budget crisis. $24 million is a fair amount to cut.
Yeah. All right. Well, shall we go to the next?
It's up to you.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and we'll go to a song. And when we come back after this, we'll tell you about an asteroid that almost hit the Earth, but nobody told you about it. Be back after this. All right, welcome back to Informavores for our next topic. Where, if you didn't know, yesterday an asteroid actually passed the Earth and came just 8,700 miles from the Earth, which sounds far, but in space terms, it's not. That's actually pretty close.
It's like a hair.
And pretty frightening. But the more frightening part about this is that scientists didn't know it was going to hit until going to come close to the Earth until 15 hours before it was going to cross paths with the Earth. So my first question for you is, in this situation, are you glad that they didn't tell you?
I don't care. And here's why.